Behind every Harley roar lies a shadow, truths the company won't print in brochures. We dug up 21 of them, and most riders never discover even half. The last one changes everything. Stay locked in, because number 2 is the single hardest truth, and once you know it, you'll never look at your Harley the same. Number 21, the Sportster trap. For generations of riders, the Harley-Davidson Sportster has looked like the perfect way into the world of American steel. It is compact, it carries that famous rumble, and the price tag sits lower than the touring giants. Countless new owners have walked out of the dealership grinning, convinced they have found the machine that will carry them for decades. Yet the deeper truth often arrives quickly. The Sportster is more stepping stone than forever ride. Its 883 and 1200 versions offer a punch of style, but the frame and fuel range make long-distance travel exhausting. Riders learn that on highways the vibration builds, the knees cramp, and the motor feels strained compared to big twin touring models. Many pour thousands into seats, bars, and performance parts, only to discover they are chasing comfort the design never intended. Resale value adds another sting, because the market is flooded with used Sportsters from riders upgrading. The Sportster may capture hearts, but it rarely keeps them, and that realization sets the stage for the next hard lesson. Number 20, the 883 illusion. Shiny chrome and an inviting price tag make the Harley-Davidson 883 look like the dream of every first-time buyer. Its low stance, classic lines, and accessible weight promise freedom without the intimidation of heavier touring machines. For countless riders, it has been the first handshake with the Harley brand, yet many quickly discover the illusion hidden beneath that attractive surface. The 883 is light on the wallet, but also light on long-haul capability. With limited horsepower and a modest fuel tank, the motorcycle thrives on short commutes and weekend rides, yet falters when pushed into interstate miles. Vibration builds, speed feels strained, and comfort fades rapidly. Riders often attempt to fix these flaws with new pipes, suspension upgrades, and better seats, pouring thousands into a model never built for endless highways. Resale value brings another reality check, because the used market is crowded with 883 machines being traded in for bigger Harleys. The 883 may look like forever freedom, but the next truth proves that too much motor can be just as punishing. Number 19, the twin cam heatwave. When Harley-Davidson introduced the twin cam engine in 1999, riders expected salvation in the form of extra torque and smoother performance. On the surface it delivered, but beneath the promise came a heat wave that scorched both machines and riders alike. The motor produced power, yet in city traffic or on sweltering summer rides, it baked thighs and pushed oil beyond comfortable limits. What was meant to be progress became a test of endurance every time the stoplight turned red. Beyond the unbearable heat lurked a more dangerous flaw. The chain-driven cam system relied on tensioner shoes that wore out far too soon. Many owners discovered shredded pieces inside their oil pans, a warning that failure was near. Entire aftermarket industries grew by selling gear-driven fixes, while Harley later revised the design. Even so, the scars remained, reminding riders that innovation often carries hidden costs. The twin cam left a complicated legacy, admired for strength, condemned for heat. And with that, the story leads toward the next truth, where sound itself became a battlefield. Number 18, the quieting of the rumble. To many riders, the unmistakable potato-potato rhythm of a Harley-Davidson V-twin was more than sound. It was a badge of honor that could be felt in the chest. Yet government regulation and modern engineering gradually pushed that thunder into silence. Beginning in the late 1990s and continuing through the early 2000s, exhaust systems and fuel injection were redesigned to meet increasingly strict emissions rules. The once booming roar gave way to a muted growl that left old-school riders shaking their heads, wondering if the soul of their motorcycle had been stripped away. This shift created an identity crisis within the Harley community. Some accepted the quieter tone as the cost of survival in a changing world, while others immediately turned to aftermarket pipes in search of the lost music. Dealers saw a wave of stage upgrades, and entire companies thrived by selling louder solutions. But the truth remained. The company itself had softened its greatest trademark. If the muffling of Harley's voice stirred outrage, the next revelation would cut even deeper, because it involved eliminating an entire beloved family of motorcycles. Number 17. The Dyna demise. Few announcements shook the Harley-Davidson world as hard as the one delivered in 2018. That was the year the motor company declared the Dyna line would no longer exist, folding its identity into the Softail platform. For decades, the Dyna had been the outlaw's choice, a raw and muscular machine with exposed shocks, aggressive stance, and a culture all its own. From television fame on Sons of Anarchy to garage legends in every American town, the Dyna symbolized rebellion in steel form. Its disappearance felt less like progress and more like betrayal. Harley claimed the decision was driven by efficiency, smoother ride quality, and modern chassis engineering. But loyal riders felt blindsided. The Softail replacements carried hidden suspension, different geometry, and styling that seemed more polished than gritty. For many, it was proof that the company was chasing new markets rather than honoring tradition. Values of used Dynas immediately spiked as fans rushed to secure what they saw as the last true renegade Harley. And if killing the Dyna family stunned riders, the following truth shows how corporate missteps nearly brought the entire brand to its knees. If these brutal Harley truths are hitting close to home, do me a favor. Tap that subscribe button right now. It is the best signal that riders like you want more raw, road-tested wisdom. Number 16. The American Machine and Foundry Years. Among Harley-Davidson loyalists, few words spark as much debate as American Machine and Foundry, often remembered simply as AMF. From 1970 to 1981, the corporation owned Harley-Davidson, and those 11 years left scars still felt today. On paper, the partnership promised stability during a turbulent economic era, but the reality for riders was a different story. Factories pushed motorcycles out faster than quality could keep up, and complaints about leaking gaskets, weak electrics, and poor finishing spread across the country. Dealerships faced frustrated customers who had waited their whole lives to buy a Harley, only to discover constant problems. Mechanics joked that AMF stood for another mechanical failure. While the truth was not always that grim, the reputation stuck. Yet hidden in that troubled decade was the spark of survival. In 1981, a group of Harley executives bought the company back, setting the stage for the rebirth of the brand. If the AMF years proved how corporate ownership could nearly sink Harley-Davidson, the next revelation reveals how something as simple as vibration could test even the toughest riders. Before we hit the next one, kit up like a pro. The best gear and accessories are linked in the description. Number 15. The vibration tax. Every Harley-Davidson motorcycle delivers a signature feel, but that very character often becomes a hidden cost riders pay with their own bodies. The term many seasoned owners use is the vibration tax. From the earliest flathead motors through the mighty big twins, the machines were never shy about shaking. At first, the rumble feels alive, a mechanical heartbeat that separates a Harley from smooth-running imports. Yet mile after mile, hour after hour, the charm wears thin. Hands grow numb, shoulders ache, and lower backs absorb a punishment as steady as the road itself. Harley-Davidson tried solutions, such as rubber-mounted engines and counterbalance designs. But the truth is that no system removes the shake entirely. Touring models spread the weight, but Sportsters and Dynas often leave riders buzzing after a long haul. The vibration tax does not show up on the sticker price, yet it is paid in chiropractor visits, stiff joints, and shorter rides than planned. And while vibration drains strength, the next brutal truth comes from another physical reality: the sheer weight that every Harley forces its rider to wrestle. Number 14. The weight of tradition. One of the first surprises awaiting many new Harley-Davidson owners is not the noise or the torque, but the scale reading. These machines are heavy, and that weight is more than a statistic. It is a reality every rider feels in parking lots, on gravel roads, and during slow maneuvers. Touring icons such as the Electra Glide or the Road Glide push past 800 pounds, while even so-called lightweights like the Softail still demand muscle to manage. Tradition built these motorcycles large and imposing, and that bulk delivers highway stability, but it also exacts a physical toll. Dropping a Harley can mean strained backs, bruised pride, and costly repairs. Older riders in particular discover that as strength fades, lifting 800 pounds upright becomes no small task. Engineers have trimmed ounces with aluminum frames, yet the culture insists on keeping the broad stance and thick steel that symbolize Harley heritage. The weight is part of the legend, but also part of the struggle. And while gravity itself challenges every Harley rider, the following truth digs even deeper into the wallet, striking with financial pain that never fades. Number 13. The Harley tax. Hidden behind the pride of ownership lies a financial truth that nearly every Harley-Davidson rider eventually confronts, a reality known across the community as the Harley tax. Straight from the factory, most machines arrive restricted, choked by emissions regulations and conservative tuning. The motorcycle looks powerful, yet the throttle response feels muted, the exhaust subdued, and the intake limited. Riders expecting raw force quickly realize the bike is only showing part of its potential. To unlock that full character, owners often purchase what is politely called a Stage 1 upgrade, a freer breathing air cleaner, a set of louder pipes, and a digital remap for the engine control module. The cost can climb into the thousands, turning what seemed like a manageable purchase into a far more expensive commitment. The tax does not end there, because additional stages for cams, heads, and performance tuning tempt riders with promises of even greater muscle. While many happily pay, the reality is clear. Harley-Davidson deliberately leaves performance locked away. And once that cost is understood, the next truth reveals how resale can punish loyalty even further. Number 12. The resale reality. A gleaming Harley-Davidson rolling out of the dealership feels like an heirloom in the making, but the marketplace has a colder perspective. The belief that every Harley holds value forever is a comforting myth, and sooner or later, many owners collide with the resale reality. Compared to many foreign motorcycles, Harley-Davidson machines do depreciate more slowly, yet that advantage only carries so far. Once mileage climbs past 40,000, or if the motorcycle belongs to a less popular line such as the Street Series, resale prices fall sharply. Buyers on the used market search for low miles, tasteful upgrades, and clean maintenance records. Anything outside those boundaries leaves sellers facing offers far lower than expected. Many proud owners are shocked when their carefully customized machine is worth barely half of the money invested. Emotional attachment rarely translates to cash value, and the depreciation curve has no mercy. If resale proves that a Harley cannot always preserve financial worth, the next truth strikes even deeper, because it concerns entire models that the company could not sell at any price. Number 10. The V-Rod Outcast. When Harley-Davidson unveiled the V-Rod in 2001, it looked like a revolution in chrome. Developed in partnership with Porsche Engineering, the motorcycle carried the Revolution engine, a liquid-cooled double-overhead cam powerhouse that could spin higher and harder than any traditional big twin. On paper, it was the future: sleek drag-inspired styling, blistering acceleration, and a level of refinement that critics had begged Harley to deliver for decades. For riders who valued performance, the V-Rod seemed like salvation, yet the cultural response was mixed at best. Traditional Harley loyalists rejected the machine, arguing it looked too modern, sounded too foreign, and lacked the raw character of air-cooled iron. Meanwhile, sport bike riders considered it too heavy, too expensive, and not nimble enough to rival Japanese or European competitors. The V-Rod lived in an uncomfortable middle ground, embraced by a few visionaries but ignored by the mainstream. Production ended in 2017, leaving the V-Rod as an outcast with cult status. And as that bold experiment faded, the next truth reveals another design that promised comfort but left riders wrestling with compromise. Number 9. The Softail Mirage. The Harley-Davidson Softail line has long dazzled riders with its old-school silhouette, hiding rear suspension to mimic the rigid frames of the 1940s and 1950s. At first glance, the design feels like a perfect blend of heritage and comfort, a motorcycle that offers classic looks without the bone-rattling punishment of a true hardtail. Yet beneath that beauty lies the Softail Mirage, a reality where style often overshadows function. While the hidden shock system preserves iconic lines, it delivers handling that many describe as harsher and less forgiving than Dyna or touring models. Cornering clearance is limited, suspension travel feels short, and long-distance comfort can fade quickly. Riders who bought a Softail expecting smooth highway dominance often discover the motorcycle favors boulevard cruising over cross-country exploration. Customizers adore the platform for its clean lines, but touring veterans sometimes regret choosing fashion over practicality. The Softail remains beloved for its appearance, but the compromise is unavoidable. And once that mirage is clear, the story moves toward an even harsher reality: the loss of an entire brand that once carried Harley's hopes for the sport bike world. Number 8. The Buell Betrayal. In the mid-1980s, a former Harley-Davidson engineer named Eric Buell dreamed of building American sport motorcycles that could challenge Europe and Japan. His vision blended Harley torque with agile frames and innovative engineering. Harley-Davidson eventually bought a controlling interest in Buell, and by the early 2000s, the brand was producing machines with rim-mounted brakes, underslung exhausts, and lightweight handling unlike anything Milwaukee had ever built. Riders who wanted corner-carving performance finally had an American option. Yet corporate support never matched the ambition. Marketing was weak, dealer enthusiasm often lukewarm, and Buell models were treated as odd side projects rather than the future of performance. Despite loyal fans, sales numbers never reached expectations. In 2009, Harley abruptly shut the doors, leaving Eric Buell and his supporters devastated. The decision crushed innovation that might have redefined what American motorcycles could become. For riders, the betrayal still stings. Buell proved Harley could have led a new frontier but chose not to. And if that failure was painful, the next truth shows how chasing the future too soon brought its own disaster. Number 7. The Livewire Disconnect. When Harley-Davidson announced the Livewire in 2014, the company presented it as the bold leap into the electric future. The motorcycle offered instant torque, whisper-quiet acceleration, and styling that leaned modern rather than traditional. For engineers and executives, it was proof that Harley could innovate beyond air-cooled twins. Test riders raved about the thrilling launch speed, and reviewers praised the handling. On paper, it looked like the perfect answer to a changing market, but the disconnect came quickly. Loyal Harley riders wanted the rumble, vibration, and soul of combustion, not silent speed. Meanwhile, younger riders who might have embraced an electric motorcycle balked at the price tag, which soared well above $30,000. Charging infrastructure was thin, range remained limited, and dealerships struggled to explain why a Harley without sound deserved such a premium. The Livewire became less a revolution and more a symbol of corporate miscalculation. Harley spun the model into its own brand, but the wound lingered, and if chasing silence proved costly, the next truth reminds us how noisy unreliability once nearly doomed the company. We are getting close to the finish, but the biggest truths are still waiting. Make sure you hit subscribe right now so you never miss another countdown built for riders who live and breathe Harley-Davidson. Stay part of this brotherhood, because every mile ahead deserves the wisdom only experience delivers. Number 6. The Shovelhead Struggle. From 1966 until 1984, the Harley-Davidson Shovelhead engine powered motorcycles that defined an entire era of American riding. At first glance, the motor looked tough, carried a distinctive rocker box design, and offered more power than the aging Panhead. Riders loved the style, and the Shovelhead quickly became a staple on highways and in custom shops across the nation. Yet beneath the chrome and nostalgia lived a reality that countless owners still remember with frustration: the Shovelhead struggle. Oil leaks were common, charging systems failed, and top ends wore out faster than expected. Long trips often demanded a tool roll, spare gaskets, and the patience to wrench by the roadside. During the American machine and foundry years of the 70s, quality slipped even further, fueling the reputation that Harley-Davidson was unreliable. Many riders endured breakdowns that tarnished the brand's image for years. Despite the hardships, the Shovelhead remains beloved among purists who celebrate its raw personality. But as time proved, Harley needed a savior. That rescue arrived in the mid-80s with the Evolution engine, the subject of the next truth. Number 5. The Evolution Savior. By the early 1980s, Harley-Davidson desperately needed redemption. Years of mechanical failures, oil leaks, and declining reputation had left riders doubting the brand's survival. The Shovelhead era, while iconic in appearance, had worn thin on patience. In 1984, the company introduced the Evolution engine, known simply as the Evo, and it changed everything. For many, it was not just a new motor. It was the savior that restored faith in American motorcycles. The Evolution brought aluminum heads, tighter machining tolerances, and a dramatic leap in reliability. For the first time in years, Harley riders could take long trips without packing a full toolbox. Oil leaks dropped, starting became easier, and performance improved while still preserving the distinctive V-twin rumble. The Evo powered Sportsters and Big Twins alike, carrying the company through a crucial decade. Enthusiasts hailed it as the engine that saved Harley-Davidson from extinction, allowing the brand to compete against Japanese imports that had dominated with flawless reliability. And if the Evo saved the company's soul, the next truth exposes the ongoing cost of keeping those massive touring machines on the road. Number 4. The Touring Maintenance Trap. Owning a Harley-Davidson touring motorcycle such as the Electra Glide or the Road Glide feels like conquering the open highway itself. These machines carry riders across states with wind protection, luggage space, and comfort that smaller bikes cannot match. Yet behind that dream lurks a costly reality known by seasoned owners as the touring maintenance trap. The larger the machine, the greater the upkeep, and the bills stack up quickly. Heavy motorcycles consume tires faster, sometimes requiring replacements in as little as 8,000 to 10,000 miles. Brakes wear down under the strain of stopping 900 pounds of steel and rider. Oil changes, transmission fluids, and primary fluids must be handled with discipline, and none of it comes cheap at a dealership. Annual maintenance costs can reach into the thousands, and unexpected repairs for electronics or suspension only add to the pain. The trap is not just financial, it demands time and planning. Touring riders learn that freedom requires steady investment. And while maintenance empties wallets, the next truth reveals how even passenger comfort can test devotion further. Number 3. The passenger problem. Sharing the open road with a loved one seems like one of the purest joys of motorcycling, yet Harley-Davidson owners often confront a harsh lesson known as the passenger problem. While the machines exude strength and style, not every model is built with two-up comfort in mind. Sportsters and many Softails carry pillion seats that are thin, high, and unforgiving. After only an hour, passengers complain of sore backs, numb legs, and fatigue that kills the romance of the ride. The suspension compounds the issue. With added weight, rear shocks bottom out, turning bumps into punishing jolts. Touring models ease some of the discomfort with wider seats and better travel, but even then, long journeys can challenge endurance. Many riders invest in aftermarket seats, upgraded shocks, or passenger backrests, spending hundreds or thousands just to make companionship practical. Disappointment arrives when expectations of effortless two-up adventure collide with reality. Some passengers eventually choose not to ride at all. And if carrying company reveals hidden limits, the next truth shows how even solo riders face the relentless passage of time. Number 2. The aging rider reality. Across the Harley-Davidson community, one truth grows clearer with every passing year. Riders age, but the motorcycles do not get lighter. The average Harley tips the scale well above 700 pounds, and touring models often approach 900. For younger riders brimming with strength, muscling these machines in parking lots or lifting them after a tip-over may feel like part of the challenge. Yet as decades pass, backs stiffen, reflexes slow, and balance becomes harder to trust. Many seasoned owners discover that what once felt like effortless control now carries the risk of injury. A simple misstep in gravel can leave a rider unable to right the bike alone. Some reluctantly downsize to lighter models, while others give up the lifestyle entirely. Harley-Davidson faces this demographic challenge head-on, with the median age of ownership climbing past 50. It is a sobering reminder that freedom has limits written by time itself, and if aging shows how the rider's body imposes constraints, the final truth reveals how the company itself wrestles with its very identity in a changing world. Number 1. The identity crisis. At the heart of Harley-Davidson lies a struggle deeper than any single model or engine: the identity crisis. For more than 120 years, the brand has stood as a symbol of American freedom, rebellion, and mechanical pride. Yet in the 21st century, the company finds itself pulled in opposite directions. Older loyalists demand the thunder of air-cooled big twins, while younger generations lean toward lighter machines, technology, and environmental responsibility. Balancing those conflicting desires has become a battle that defines Harley's future. The company experiments with new lines like the electric Livewire and the adventure-focused Pan America, while still trying to honor heritage with cruisers and touring models. Each decision risks alienating one audience to please another. Global competition, rising costs, and shifting demographics only sharpen the tension. Riders themselves feel the divide, torn between nostalgia and progress, tradition and innovation. This is the ultimate brutal truth. Harley-Davidson must adapt without losing the essence that made it legendary. And whether it succeeds or fails depends not only on corporate choices, but also on riders who decide what story the next chapter will tell. Those were the 21 brutal truths every Harley rider should know, but most never will. If even one of these hit close to home, then you know the road has more lessons waiting. Don't ride blind into the next one. Hit that subscribe button right now, join our brotherhood of riders, and never miss another truth that could save your pride, your wallet, or your Harley story.